lights on. Okay. Thokoza, sanbonani, thokozani. Welcome to Umsamo's question and answer session. Thokozani. Thokozani. Thank you for noticing the haircut. We're advanced level 3, so we're allowed to. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to all the new familiar faces. Can see all the familiar faces. Welcome, and to the new ones also. Welcome. Tolozan. Thank you for coming back, and also thank you to the new faces. I can see some new names. Welcome, very welcome. Okay, so it is 4 o'clock. I know that we were a little bit late, but we'll give it 5 minutes before we begin. Our session, just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Let's just 5 minutes, please. 5 past we'll start. Whilst we're waiting, I'm just going to open up a couple of these slides. Couple of other slides. I'm going to open them up, because maybe it'll help explain other concepts. Okay, open it up with Google Slides. Cool. If the people, I'm not sure what questions people are going to have, but I might need a particular diagram. So I'm just going to use this time to open up some slides from previous. There we go. Okay, welcome. Well, very welcome, Nuntando. Mike, I mean, welcome. If you're new here, not a problem. Okay, so before I begin, if umuntu asks me a question ngesiZulu, ngizophendula ngesiZulu, and then I will also answer in English. And if umuntu uzongibuza umbuzo ngesingisi noma ngesilungu, ngizophendula ngesilungu bese ngiphendula ngesiZulu. I hope that makes sense. I think it'll be much easier if I do it that way. That way everybody is going to be happy. Okay, so I think we should begin now. So before I begin, let me say this. First of all, let me greet you properly. Thokozani Sanbonani, my name is Siyabonga African Kize, Chief Executive at Umsamo Institute. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon for our first of 2 open question and answer sessions. I know that we've had a lot of questions over the past 12 weeks during these lives, and I know that kunembuzo eminingi that have gone unanswered. So ngacabanga ukuthi yazini sahlala phansi sonke sathi yazini asithathe isikhathi sokuthi siphendule imibuzo. Let's just dedicate time just to questions only. And that's exactly what we're going to do. But we do know that 1 hour or 1 hour and 15 minutes is not going to be enough. So we're going to do it over 2 hours, 2.5 hours, over 2 sessions. As usual, just to do a bit of in-house admin, guys, please, I know a lot of you are struggling to get through to our admin team to book an appointment. Please keep trying. Like I said, it is temporary. 10th of July, we're going to have an online booking system, and the stresses of having to do ukfonela is going to be a thing of the past. So it's been tough the past couple of days. or past couple of years actually, for now ukuthola appointment bese ukuthola incwadi ngiyazi ukuthi kube kunzima. Yikho nje sizoba ne-online booking system. Ngiyangicela bakwethu, just be patient for literally 2 more weeks and then we'll have an online booking system. Okay. And what else? What other admin is there? Please, mlamunya@gmail.com is no longer working. I've been told to let you guys know again, remind you that mlamunya@gmail.com, we're not using that anymore. The team is known as not responding to that. If you want to get a hold of us, khulumamakosi@umsamo.org.za, as well as info@umsamo.org.za, mlamunya@umsamo.org.za. Okay. So let us begin. So I see no questions here. I see no questions on my side. So I'm literally going to go in order of the questions as they arrive. That's what I'm going that's how I'm going to answer the questions. It's literally, I'm going to go from bottom to top, and I'm going to be explaining I'm going to respond in English, and I'm also going to respond in isiZulu for those that struggle to understand fully what I'm saying in English, and vice versa. Okay, so you can feel free to answer your questions now. Okay, here's one question. Here's the first question. Thokozani, I am Namibian and I was told I have a calling. However, I want to ask, should all twasas be done in South African ways? What other ways are there, if you know? Many thanks. Okay, so uktwasa, there's no set way of uktwasa. Uktwasa, the process of uktwasa is very specific for what itonga lako desires. There's only 2 things that are consistent with uktwasa: ukungena epheshweni nokuphothula. In other words, entrance and graduation or exit. Those are the only 2 things that are consistent with across the globe. However, right, what happens in between is really determined on what itongo lako or idlozi lako desires. Okay, and just because you are Namibian does not necessarily mean that you can't be initiated in the way of the South African way. When it comes to finding out how you should be initiated or who should be initiated, who should be initiating you, you need to first ask yourself, what kind of spirit do I have? Nginesinguni noma nginesindawo? Am I a land-based spirit or am I a water-based spirit? That's the determining factor. Your nationality or geographical location doesn't necessarily determine that, because Dr. Mkhize is South African, but ukuthwasa kwakhe took place in Mozambique because yena unesindawo, and the person who was initiating him, yena naye, he took ubaba to the place where he was initiated, or where he received his training. So that is how it works. Okay, it's dependent on what kind of spirit. Am I a water-based spirit? Am I a land-based spirit? You need to ask yourself, which one are you exactly? And then you can go in terms of finding, and then once you have that, you need to ask yourself, am I a self-initiating or do I need ukobela? Because some people are self-initiating and some people need ukobela. You don't always need ukobela in order for itongo lakho litwasa. And even if you do have ukobela umsebenzi kakobela, because ukobela's job can literally be just to have you ejaritini. That's it. Bakhona amathwasa bafika khona eMlambo, and they just need to be there. Not necessarily do anything, but they just need to be there. I hope that answers your question. Okay, we're gonna go in order as the questions come in, so that no question gets skipped. Online booking processes, there's a video that's going to come up. We're going to do a video to explain that, so just please wait for that video. What happens to someone who dies or passes without having imbeleko done for them? Okay, so if someone passes on and imbeleko has not done for them, right, you still need to follow the correct protocol when it comes to ubangcwaba. So one, how did they pass away? Car accident, any kind of trauma, then you need to look at ugezumuzi nokuvala umkhokha. Okay? And before you bring them into the home on the day of the funeral. So you need to follow the correct processes for them during their burial. You can't do imbeleko for them after they have passed. Does that make sense? What's important are the living. The living are the most important people to ensure that they have imbeleko. So even though, let's say, for example, ubaba didn't have imbeleko, and is wakamkhisi. And he did imbeleko for myself and my siblings. We are fine. Yena, if he passes on, we just follow the correct protocol for him. Okay? And then Tinas Kobagan and Bilo. And anyone of us missing imbeleko, then we do it for ourselves. I hope that makes sense. If not, just let me know in the comment section below. Okay, right, here we go. Sanibonani, ngicela ukubuza ugcina ulungiswa kanjani umsamo mangabe abaphilayo kwenqaba nenhlambuluko thokoza. Okay, Khatem. Remember umsamo wena. And sometimes you cannot fix the entire family. Awukwazi ukulungisa umndeni wonke uma wena ungazilungisi wena ungaqale ngawe. So start by correcting umsamo for yourself individually ukuthi wenze isiqiniseko sokuthi nginaso isibongo that is correct, and on top of that I also have the correct surname. I've got the right rituals that have been done for me, right? Especially Imbelek. Once you have the right surname and you have Imbelek, then you can take it upon yourself as the person who is interested in actually correcting umsamo wasekhaya. Because if you don't have imbeleko and if abadala don't know who you are, in other words, imbeleko, you don't have it, and isibongo was incorrect, right? Then how do you fix lomsamo walomde? Because if I'm the only one in my family who's interested in ukulungisa umsamo wasekhaya, then by fixing izinto zam qala, right? Then I can begin to fix wasekhaya. And then when it comes to inhlambuluko, you need to cleanse yourself with, if the other person does not desire to get engaged kulento yenhlambuluko, kulungisa izinto, wena qhubeka without them. Uyemsamo ugeze whatever happened, whether it be ingxabano, ungazwani, whatever the case may be. Wena hamba emsamo, hlaba imbuzi, inkukhu, inkomo, whatever the case may be, ukuxolisa kubadala, nokugeza umuzi, nokugeza ikhaya. And then wena usungaqhubeka nompilo, because if wena umsamo wakho was clean, it's fine. Other person, not so much. Guys, when it comes to amaphupho, I can't really answer in Mbono here. We have a lot of videos and recordings on uphahla and how to handle dreams. So please, can you just look at those? Please, I'm asking you, please. Okay, can you phahla when you're on your period? Awukwazi ukungena emsamo when you're on your period, but that doesn't necessarily mean ukuthi awukwazi ukuphahla when you're on your period. I'm not necessarily, actually, let me double check the your phahla, because one thing I know for sure is you can't enter isigosho noma umsamo if you're on your period. In your phahla, I think you can. I'd say yes. It's okay, because you're not entering a holy space. You're not entering the space of umsamo noma isigosho. Okay, I'm asking on behalf of my girlfriend here. Okay, I was raised by my grandmother's sister. When my biological mother passed on, was still an infant, so the sister took my mother and raised her as her own. My mother then, okay, let me start this again. I was raised by my grandmother's sister. Then the biological grandmother passed on, and then my mother's was still an infant, so the sister took my mother and raised her as her own child. My mother then also passed on, leaving behind her daughters, of which I am the last born, to be raised by her aunt, whom we all know to be our grandmother. We all use our father's surname, and none has paid in Klaulu. It has been revealed that we must all what? It's cutting off. I can't see the rest of the question. Please, can you help me out with that? I can't see the rest of the question, but I'm going to answer with what I've got here. Okay, so If no inhlawulo has not been paid, ilobolo has not been paid, imfanelo have not been done, you need to go. You can't use your father's surname, right? If you need to go back and use this kagogo, that's what you need to go back to. Simple process of tatsimbuzi, nyemsamo, nomonyekaya. Find someone and she's impepo who can burn impepo for you. Each person must have imbuzi yabo, right? Because essentially you're reintroducing by doing imbeleko, right? Mbuzi, for using the wrong surname and saying we're coming back to the right surname now. Okay. Then what you're going to do is imbuzi, let the goat sleep imsamo. Next day wake up, umuntu athelwe ngenyongo, afake isiphandle on the left hand side. Go to Home Affairs, go to the bank, go to work, go everywhere and change your surname to your grandmother's surname. I hope that makes sense. That makes sense. This one here, Thokoza Gwabe, what is Inzuza spirit and how does it manifest? I must say I've had this question quite often with Yin Inzuza, and this is the first I am hearing of. I've heard of it, but I must say I'll never be too ashamed to admit when I don't have the answers to a question. I will definitely do the research for you. I have no problem doing that. Mhlambe, I know it as a different name, but for now I am unable to answer this question, but I will definitely do the research for you if you'll just be patient with me, please. Okay, can you explain the mechanics of what can be done if there's a situation where a family is using the wrong surname, grandfathers, due to grandparents not completing their marriage properly, if the issue has skipped a generation and the parents are not willing to go back? Very simple. Tatsimbu, because it's skipped a generation, right? If it's skipped a generation, what you can do then is you can carry on with the incorrect surname. So what you would do is tatani mbuzi niningane, right? From that generation, because the parents don't want to change. That's fine. Hambanye msamo, mbuzi. No. Okay? Impoliso for using the wrong surname, and you're going to say we would like the new surname that we are currently using to be blessed, and we want to carry on with this surname because our parents do not want to correct it. We understand that this is not what we should be doing, but we are unable to do anything else. Please, can you bless this new surname? And we would like to be part of this new surname, and all our offspring and our wives and our children will use this surname. Shabimbuzi, lalemsamo, Telenyongo, Fagani Pank. Done. So you can continue with an incorrect surname if the problem has skipped a generation. So it comes from the grandparents' generation. Parents don't want to do anything, but you as the kids want to do something. It skips a generation. You can definitely do it that way. Hope that helps. Okay, Thokoza covers it. Thank you very much for the Q&A. Umbuzo wam engnawo mayelana nesimo sokuthi uma so in other words, if someone loses a child by miscarriage, so someone has quite a few miscarriages. Okay, so someone has 6 miscarriages. I'm translating for those that can't read Zulu. So someone has 6 miscarriages. Kwanzama wageza kubo geza ekhaya njengomuntu olotshola, which ngisanda ukwazi ukuthi kumele simgeze nakithi. Ngabe masigezwa uma senze imisebenzi yazo lezi ingane zonke so 6 yini ngayini mele ibe nembuzi yayo. Okay, so they're asking if multiple miscarriages, do you have a child? Sorry, do you have a goat for each child that you've lost? And the answer is yes. In the event that you know, okay, fine, in my lifetime, I've lost 4 children, or I've lost 3 children, or 5 children, or 6 children. Both you and the father of the children, assuming you guys are still together. If not, that's fine. But you need to make sure that uhlabe imbuzi ezu-6, right? And then ugeza nembuzi, well, ezu-6. Actually, you know what? Some people, yeah. So it's because the thing is, you need to cleanse lezo ingane that were lost, right? You need to cleanse them. And ingane nengane needs to have imbuzi yakhe. Yeah, ingane nengane needs to have imbuzi yakhe. And the process of ukugeza, imbuzi, gazi, umswane, inyongo, hlanganise, ugeza ehlathini, or alternatively, some people bageza emfuleni so that kuhamba namanzi or running water, and then uqhubeke nempilo. That's how you do it. So yes, to answer your question, each child needs to have their goat. Right. I have a question. If I bought a home for myself, is my uncle allowed to bring ancestors into my new home? Yes, he is. Your uncle should be the one, actually. Okay, let me explain this briefly while I have time. There's two things you need to understand. Kunokufaka abadala nokubika umuzi. Two differences. Ukufaka abadala is what you do for your first home. Your uncle, you'll go back to your original homestead. Umalume wakho uzoshisa impepho, aphahle, athi nina bakaDube, nansi ingane yethu isengakhela umuzi, because ngithi wakho umuzi kababa, right? Wozani-ke ngizonikhombisa umuzi. Singene, ngenani kulowa muzi. Nivikele lowa muzi the same way you're protecting this current home now, because essentially your home is an extension of the homestead, because you are an extension of the family. All right. Then you'll slaughter a goat there, right? Tatsu Shangoti, then you're going to go to your new home. Yapashaga futhi, nihlabe imbuzi lapho. Usiyabafaka ke manje. The next home that you buy, usuyababika ke manje. Same process, but now usuyababika, not ukuthi uyabafaka. Hope that makes sense. And your uncle must be the one ukushisila impepho. Wena umsebenzi kamalume noma ubamncane ukuthi nje akushisela impepho, akhulume emsamo. That's what you need him there for. So your uncle must be there to shisa impepho, akhulume nabadala emsamo. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Here's another one. Thokoza, I have been to Epiphany twice, and none of the initiation attempts have worked out because I have left during training. Do I need to be cleansed of that? So before you ask this, you need to find out whether or not, so you need to ask yourself why they didn't work out. Why have they not worked out in terms of why have you not completed the initiation? That's the most important thing you need to find out. And also whether or not you should be initiating in the first place, right? But I would say you need to try come for a consultation because you need to find out what you actually do need to do. So it's not about being necessarily, it's not enough to cleanse yourself of going Epiphany twice, but you need to find out what are you supposed to do, right? So you can go for a cleansing, right? And you can cleanse yourself, but then the thing is, you're not going to know what I'm supposed to be doing instead of mhlambe uzwala wembethe and all you needed to do was welcome Lumuntu was wembethe with. You didn't necessarily have to go uzoyotwasa, but you need to find that out and there as well as cleanse. All right, that's the only reason why I'm saying maybe you should look at coming for a consultation. What determines if you are a water spirit or a land spirit? How do you know? Okay, I had a lecture on this. I think it was lecture number 5, twins, and I was speaking about twins as well. So you need to look at your dreams, right? Are you dreaming a lot of, whenever you're dreaming, what do your dreams look like? Are you seeing intaba and mhlabningi and vast amounts of land and being in the veld where there's lush green grass? Then chances are unesinguni. If you are spending a lot of the time in water, whether it be on a boat or swimming or upukuta nenyoka, upukuta with crocodiles, and then unesindawe. Very, very few people are both. And usually those people are twins, okay? Because if mina nginesinguni, but my twin unesindawe and my twin passes away, right? Or invisible, sorry, or what is it called again? The disappearing twin syndrome occurs, and then I absorb some of their tissue. Now, in addition to isinguni, I also have isindawe. So you can have both. It is possible to have both. But the main thing are your dreams. That's the biggest indicator. Right. Kunesizathu kwenziwa yini ukuphupha unamaphupho engathi ubukela, even if ulo phupho kube sengathi it's an out of body experience. Okay. So it's like an out of body experience. So there's dreams, and then there is, I mean, I think we call them when you have sleep paralysis, or what is the term for it? There's a nice English term for it. Lucid dreaming. Yes, that's the term for it. Yeah, lucid dreaming. So what she's describing is lucid dreaming. It's an out of body experience. So it's pretty much, yabona imbono uyakhonjiswa. Lucid dreaming is when uyathathwa ngokwemimoya and they take you somewhere else, and they take you to a different realm. Because remember what I said, this is the ancestral plane. This is the ancestral level. This is where physically we work, right? When you have a dream, you are elevated slightly, but you're just shown what's occurring in the ancestral realm or what you need to see. You're simply given a glimpse. However, when you're lucid dreaming, you are physically brought into that world. Hence, it feels like you've left your body. I think I've only had two of those kind of experiences, and they're physically exhausting. You've slept for 10 hours, but you feel like you've only slept for 1 hour, and you've been running back-to-back marathons. You're physically exhausted because at that moment you are no longer part of it. They literally take imimoya yako neto, and you instead of looking in, which is what a usual dream is, you physically enter and you begin to interact. And the reason we feel so exhausted afterwards is because it's such an elevated, it's transcendence. And because it is so elevated in terms of the experience, when we come back to this body, we're finished. I hope that answers your question. And the only reason that happens is because they don't want you to see it. They want you to feel it and experience so that you better understand it. Okay, how do you fix a situation where a child has changed from mother's surname to their father's surname without imfanelo? Please take us through both solutions where the father is willing to do imfanelo, where the father is not willing to do, meaning the child does not. Okay, cool. So let's say the father is willing to do things correctly. The father needs to go home to the mother's side of the family with uncles and whomever and say, we would like to do things correctly. One, akakho inhlawulo. Inhlawulo can be anything. Inhlawulo can be 1 goat, 2 goats, 3 goats, a couple of chickens, a cow, whatever the case may be. Same with ilobolo. Ilobolo does not have to be fixed for ingane. But inhlawulo must be paid. Ilobolo must be paid for the children, okay, by the father, right? After that, the mother's side of the family must slaughter a goat at their homestead. Bamkhiphe umntwana, noma bakhipha abantwana. They must release the children. If there's 4 children, they must slaughter 4 goats to release each child from that family. Okay? Thatha inyongo, imbuzi lale msamo, thelwe ngenyongo, right? Thatha inyongo and everything. And they say, we're releasing the child from this surname, and they are going to another surname, the surname of their father, right? Then on the same day, the father's side of the family must slaughter another goat to welcome the children into the family and do imbeleko for them. That is when you're going to use inyongo, utele ingane nenyongo, right? To welcome into the family. On the mother's side, when they're slaughtering the goat, you don't have to use inyongo, but it's mainly to release ingane from the family. And then on the other side, when they're accepting the family, doing imbeleko for them, they must use inyongo. In the event that the child used the father's, and then after that you can go to Home Affairs, change your surname and whatnot. In the event the father did not do imfanelo and the children are incorrectly using the father's surname, the only goat you need to do is the goat for the mother's side of the family. So you would do the goat, so you'd slaughter a goat to the mother's side of the family, apologize for using the wrong surname, say that we're coming back to the right surname, and then you would telling nyongo as well, because you're joining the mother side of the family, the surname again correctly, and then ufakis phandle. I hope that makes sense. Very simple, Very straightforward. This you don't need to come for a consultation for, guys. You can really just do this at home. So yeah, yes, we are working on Mlambomonya. We are working. After the online booking system comes up online, we will be increasing our numbers to about 50. I'm sorry, I've lost my place here. I don't know why this thing went down. I need to go back up to the top. I don't know why it went back up. There we go. Right. So I want to look okay, so guys, I can't do dreams at the moment. Please can you refer to the content that we've been posting for okay, thank you for this. My question is never really answered, but can you help? Guys, please, again, dreams, please, can we what's this patch? What happens if you're told and Baba, you can see Twasela, you only see Umfula and Alvez umuntu to initiate you, now to show you things from beads, amajaz, etc. You need to continue engaging netong, and you wait until it's showing, and you wait until it shows you somebody else of Twasis. Or ungaphahla ubacela ukuthi uma ukhona umuntu ozongithwasisa ngicela ningikhombisa yena. If akekho asiqhubeke ngicela ukuthi siqhubeke the same way as well. So you need to show abadala ukuthi don't just don't just dream and not communicate nabadala. They need to also know that now uyababona. So when you have a dream of significance, hambi opasha and thank them for showing you that and showing you this, and ask them, would you like me to buy that bead? Would you like me to wear those beads? Would you like me to buy lelo buy? Because mhlambe they're showing you that because they want you to buy it and they don't want you to have ukobela and they want you to self-initiate. Hence they're showing you those things. So don't just dream and watch the dreams take place. Write them down in your dream book and then hambi opasha the following night and say, would you like this? And then they say, yes, we would like this. Then hambi okuthenga. Mhlambe, that's how Itong is self-initiating because they're getting the pieces that they require. Okay. What is the difference between a medium and a sangoma? Okay, so I'm going to tag into this weekend. So this weekend, actually, something happened on Twitter, and I realized that this is probably the perfect topic. So we're going to talk about mediums, sangoma, izanosi, self-initiation, initiating through Kobela this weekend on Sunday. That's going to be for this weekend on Sunday. Right. So was it? Oh, guys, please, imbono, please, the pooper, please, guys. So when are you open in Mlambomonya? Can I make an appointment? We are open every day of the week apart from Monday and Wednesday. And yes, you can call to make an appointment. Okay. No, there is no one in Pretoria at the moment. Okay, let me use this opportunity to clarify something, but I'm also going to do it online as well. There are two kinds of services that we offer at Mzam. Dr. Mkhize is for spiritual guidance, nokubhula nokuhlola. Spiritually, if you need someone who's okhuluma nabapansi and connect with abapansi, ubaba is your best person to go to. What I do and how I'm able to help, right, is how I do it is, well, we haven't announced it formally, but we're going to announce it formally, is that we're going to have, instead of having this live now with 200, 300 people, I'm going to offer people smaller, intimate conversations of 5 to 15 groups. And in that moment, I will be able to give you the necessary education. You can ask me as many questions as you want. And we can go through rigorously in terms of consultation for education and information purposes, not necessarily for spiritual purposes. I hope that makes sense, but I'm going to better clarify it in the video. I hope that makes sense in terms of what myself and Dr. Mkhize do and how it's different. And sometimes someone can end up with Dr. Mkhize, but I could have helped them because all they needed was the right information and the right knowledge. And sometimes if someone comes to me and they say, look, this is what I need, then I will say, look, here is your money back. Please go to Dr. Mkhize because this is a spiritual issue. I hope that makes sense. Please, guys, I'm a poopo. Okay, Thokoza mkhulu, ngabe nethonga lisemanzini ulibona kanjani? I've explained this to you before, but I'll explain again, no problem. Ngicela ubheke imbono namaphupho. if umuntu njalo usemanzini noma ubhukude emanzini with crocodiles and water snakes, the animals you see are very important, right? The animals that you see and the medium, the physical space you're in. If you are constantly in water, you swim in water, but you're swimming with inyoga, you're swimming with crocodiles. It's very frightening, obviously, because they're crocodiles, you know. Then chances are unesindawo. I hope that answers your question. So your best bet is imibon. Look at your dreams. Look at your dreams are your best bet. Okay, Togoza, my father paid ilobolo for mom. Okay, Togoza, my father paid ilobolo for my mother and paid intlawolo for my big brother. I was therefore born bearing in mind my father paid ilobolo. So whenever I go for consultation, I'm told Usembangweni. Please clarify this. Okay, no, that makes sense why Usembangweni. Just because your father paid lobola for umawako, right? I'm assuming your parents didn't get married because you're not saying that they got married, right? If ubabwako pays ilobola for umawako and then he has 2 children with umawako, those children are still the mother's side of the family. It is only on the day of umtato where islwane is done for umama and islwane is done for ingane as well, and they are both brought into the family, and after both being exited from the mother's family, then they can take the father's family. So in the event that you are carrying an incorrect surname, in the event that you're carrying your father's surname after ilobolo was paid, but umawako and ubabwako abatacanga, abazange bashade ngokwesintu noma isiko, right? You are supposed to use and go back to your mother's maiden surname. That's option number 1. Option number 2, your father's side of the family can go to the mother's side of the family and say, yes, the father and the mother didn't get married, but ilobolo was paid. Sicela ukusebenzisa lamalobolo now to pay for these children so that these children can be released from this family and brought into our family. So you have 2 options if you were conceived after ilobolo was done. I hope that makes sense. It's really up to you. You can go back to your mother's side of the family. You can go back to your mother's surname, right? Or you can have your father's side of the family send people over and say, we would like to use lamalobola to pay for these children. Up to you. Okay. Okay, yini imbeleko yenzela umuntu onjani? Okay, I spoke about this last week. I spoke about this last week. I spoke about this last week, but we'll go through it again, not a problem. So imbeleko is for everybody. Every single human being needs to have imbeleko, right? Because imbeleko is a form of reintroducing itongo to amatongo. Because if mina ngwakamkhize in principle, because I was conceived in wedlock, ubaba nomama bacaca, right? Conceived in wedlock. My ancestral spirit over here, which has been sent by me, comes from amanye amatongo. So itongo eligmin, right? Left amanye amatongo, came to reside in me, in my body. It selected me as a vessel, right? But now I need to do umsebenzi ngokuhlaba imbuzi, ilala imsamo imbuzi, ngithelwa ngenyongo, ngifaka isiphandla, because leli tongo needs to be reintroduced to abadala. So that mina la, on the living plane, right? So that mina, mangila, sorry about that. Mangi, as mangphahla mina, ngikhuluma nabadala. Itongo lam can make sure that the message reaches amanye amatongo. So that mina mangenza umsebenzi or bangenzela umsebenzi like umhlonyane or imbeleko or whatever umemulo, when they do umsebenzi for itongo has this means of communication to amanye amathongo. That's why I describe imbeleko as a reintroduction of ingane noma ithongo lomntwana to amanye amathongo. And wonke umuntu needs to have imbeleko, and imbeleko has no age restriction. Even if you discover at the age of 80 that you don't have imbeleko, ungayenza nje kahle imbeleko. Whenever you change surnames, you need to do imbeleko to enter the new family. Whenever you introduce someone to a new family or you change surnames, kuthelwa ngenyongo. I hope that answers your question. I just wanted to use the screen to show you that. Hope that answers your questions. Okay. Right. I have two questions. What happens if uyingane ekhulele kamalume, okay? Waba nomuzi nonkosikazi bese kuthe ekugcineni kufika ubaba wakho ezokuhlawula ekufake nesibongweni sakhe. Ingaba umuzi wakho nawo kumele ushintshe isibongo kanye nomsamo? Okay. Question number one, for those of you who can't read this, he was saying that if you have grown up on your mother's side of the family with your uncle, using your mother's maiden surname all the way up until you have your own wife and your own children, and now your father comes along and says that he wants you to have his surname, what must happen to umuzi wakho? Okay, that's the question number one. Question number two, unalo yini ilungelo njengengane ukunqaba uma ubaba wakho ezokuhlawula? So question number two, do you have a right to decline if your father wants you to take his surname? And what should happen? Okay. One, if you have your mother's surname, right? Because your father didn't do anything, and he waited up until you matriculated from school, you went to tertiary, washada wagana, wathenga umuzi, waba nengane. For whatever reasons he waited for, I don't know. Manje sefuna ukuthi ukushintsha isibongo. You are well within your rights to say no. There will be no consequences for you spiritually if you decline the offer, because essentially your father akawazi ukuphota ukuthi uthathe isibongo sakhe. It's an offer. The same way umuntu esifazane and the family, they can take inhlawulo from ubaba wakho, happily take inhlawulo. In fact, they should. However, to change surnames, in terms of taking a lobola and changing surnames, they can decline that. That is why I keep saying to women who are having children outside of wedlock, you are well within your rights to say no. Now, as indoda noma umuntu esifazane nomuntu esimame okhulile, you are well within your rights to say no, right? And if that is going to impact the relationship that your father has with you, then clearly he didn't want to have. Then that's not unconditional love. He cannot love you just because on the condition that you take his surname. So to answer your question, I would say keep your mother's surname. The fact that you have a wife and you have a house, clearly everything is going right in your life. So if it's why broke, why fix what's not broken? And also you need to ask yourself, why do I have my mother's surname? Clearly everything's going right. And two, you're well within your rights to say no, nothing will happen, and don't let anybody threaten you with anything. Okay. My grandmother has Idlozi from her father's side. However, her father never paid inhlawulo no ilobolo for her. How is this possible? It is possible. That's when umbango happens. And it happens a lot in children. Look, even though, inhlawulo was not paid, at the end of the day, you are still a product of your mother and father. And sometimes it is difficult because mhlambe ugogo is the ugogo. Yikonje, I'm saying to people, sometimes ingane me is not there to foster marriage between man and woman, but rather for ikwama to be passed on. And so if ugogo, right? Ugogo wako, nothing has been done for her. But her father's side of the family, she is literally the only person who can take lekwama. So that is why it is possible, because at the end of the day, you are a product of your mother and your father. And what needed to happen is that ubabako needed to do the right things so that, or her father needed to do the right things so that at least ikwama can be passed on. And lezo ikwama were meant to come to ugogo, and lezo ikwama you were meant to take them. Okay, kusuke kwenze njani uma kumele wenze isidwabo samama wakho lo wakho sinjwa. Okay, so this is part of, I haven't gotten to these rituals yet. So I only spoke of imbeleko, umhlonyane nomemulo. I haven't gotten to ilobola. I haven't gotten to ilobola. I haven't gotten to umshado, umcaco. I haven't gotten to ibizo. I haven't gotten to ukufihla komuntu. Those are the other rituals that I'm going to get into. So I'm going to do those episodes. I'm going to go give those kind of conversations. Okay, next question from Usandra. Thokoza ngicela ukubuza, uma kuthiwa wazala wembethe waphinda washada ungazange wenzele umhlonyane, ikuphi ekumele uqale ngakho? Ngokubalulekile kakhulu, ngiyambula kanjani ingubo, umhlonyane kufanele uze. Okay, bakwethu, ayikho into ekuthiwa wembula ingubo, ulungisa ingubo, ubuyisa ingubo, ayikho. Let us remove that out of our minds, guys. You cannot fix what is no longer there. You cannot bring back what is no longer there. Ingubo is just a marker or an indicator. Uphawu nje kuphela ukuthi usho ukuthi no, lo muntu ufika nomuntu. That's all it is. Yes, it's great if you have ingubo, but it's not the be all and end all. What happens if uzalwe mbethe? Kuhlaba imbuzi emsamo. The words that must be uttered must be those of welcoming umuntu that you are born with. Lo muntu oshisa impepho okhuluma emsamo must say makhize noma siyabonga, siyakwamukela lo muntu ofika nomntwana. And then imbuzela emsamo fakwe isiphandle. That's to welcome umuntu in the home if uzalwe mbethe. Manje now uzalwe wembethe, you didn't do anything for that. So that's what you need to do first. You need to do that. Uzalwe wembethe. You need to do that procedure. And then umhlonyane needs to be done for you as well. Assuming that you have been married, assuming that you did everything correctly, right? In terms of your wedding. The people now responsible for umhlonyane wakho is your husband's side of the family, because you're no longer a member of your maiden side of the family, right? So wena, what you need to do is, one, you need to sort out indaba yokuzalwa wembethe, right? Ungawembuli imbuzi wamukela lo muntu ozalwe naye. One. Two, umhlonyane needs to be done for you by your husband's family, because you are now a member of that family. Assuming ukuthi nicacile. If angicacanga, go back to your maiden side of the family and do everything there. I hope that makes sense. Okay, Thokoza Kehla, umama usehambe kakhulu. Ayikho into unamaphupho. Okay, guys, another please, I can't do amaphupho. Okay, what happens if it was like Ulia's and you only see umfula? They refuse to let you go. They refuse to let you go to the one they showed you a while ago. Now they just show you amapai, amajazi, and you know ikobongo. Do you eat lelo kobongo ekhaya? They don't lead me to anyone to initiate me. Okay, if they don't lead you anyone to initiate you, respect that. If they show you ikobongo and you know ikobonga, follow exactly that, right? And then once you leave ikobonga as well, follow the dreams. Maubonsi buy no ma ijaz, babuze them some if they want it, and if you want them to buy it, and they will let you know. From what I'm seeing, a lot of they want you to self-initiate. I just think you need to engage Abatala more, because they're showing you so much, but you're not asking any questions. Like ask, okay, you come see buy. Do you want little buy? But come see jazz. You want little jazz. Leomfula that they're showing you, they showed you the end of where you're going to go. Yeah, for 3-4 days. You don't know, but they're saying this is what we need. This is the preparation that we need to do in order to get there. So please engage more Nabatala with your dreams. Write every single dream down and ask for clarity on every single dream that you have. Okay. Right, here's another one. Towaza saying twasile kaningi even imlambo munya that I will even eventually twasa. I have no issue with that, but ukugula kangaka all the time is really a problem. Yeah, Pasha, as always, Fundisa, but I don't feel like I'm being answered in my dreams. My question is, could it be that I'm constantly ill because I haven't done a Wembula, or should I come back for a follow-up consultation? Hey TK, so I don't know. I don't have your patient history. That's one of the problems that's going to be sorted out by the online booking system. So I can't really say for sure what you should and shouldn't do. But for safety, I think you should come back for a follow-up consultation. Speak to Dr. Mkize and let him know exactly what you're going through and how you're feeling. And tell him that, look, I don't feel I'm getting better, or I feel like I'm not being answered. And we need to find that down. You see, the thing is, Bagwet, when it comes to lazy into Zabatala, guys, sometimes fixing the first problem reveals other spiritual problems that you couldn't see. I'm trying to think of a really great example. So sometimes when you fix the first layer of problems, let's say we fix the first layer of problems, that's correct. And then as you remove it, you're opening out like, oh, Kanti, there were other problems. So sometimes that initial consultation or that initial healing process or the little to us that was initially there is revealing other problems as well. And because utwasile, you don't know what other problems you might be inheriting from your family that they were waiting to pass down onto you or put onto you because they were waiting for you to get into us. So they were waiting for you to get into us. So then it's like, oh goodness, okay, we said twasile. Now we can give her the real set of problems that we wanted her to fix. Uktwasa was just the first hurdle. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Iyiphi indlela elungile yokukhuluma umfelokazi inzila? Okay, ngabe kudingeka imbuzi yokubika okay guys, this Babhengu, this is another one where insazokhuluma nje kahle. This is part of the rituals and ceremonies. There's 2 episodes that are going to come after this. No, there's actually a whole host of episodes. La ngizokhuluma khona ke ngokufihla umuntu ukuthi kwenzakalani afterwards, nomuntu wesilisa oshiwe umuntu wesifazane oshiwe unkosikazi wakhe, ukuthi kwenzakalani nomuntu wesimama oshiwe umyeni wakhe, and so on and so forth. This is part of the rituals that I'm going to describe later on. Okay. Sia, kindly explain what is igobong and what does it mean to a human being when you are told to do it. Thank you. Okay. There's 2. Igobongo is a mixture or a concoction of impande noma imiti that is spiritual nourishment. Ukudla kwethongo, right? It's food for itongo. And that mixture is specific for itongo, that itongo desires you to consume physically, because remember, you are a vessel, and lelo tongo wants that particular herb in this vessel, right? So that ingasebenza kangcono, isveza kangcono, and so that the spiritual knowledge and wisdom and the gifts can manifest kangcono. That's what igobonga is. Igobonga is no one set thing, right? It's really dependent on the person, and the makeup of igobonga will be different for each person. And igobongo is also dependent on type of. Remember, umuntu onesinguni udla igobongo. Umuntu onesindawe, it's a special kind of igobongo which is different to leyesinguni. Hence, it's important to know your spiritual identity. What is the nature of itongo lam? Water-based or land-based? And essentially, what it means is that it's spiritual food. No, it's not ukudla. Actually, no, it's not ukudla. What is a bad word? Himpande that is necessary for itongo. And lelo mpande is going to be taken by itongo, activated, and turned into umuti. And once it is umuti in its active form, then itongo can begin to manifest, communicate, and express themselves better. Right, here's another question. Okay, but what does one have to do if they are raised by their paternal grandmother, but her father took her away, but he took her to his girlfriend ongekho related to the child. Somehow the child changed his bongo negama to that kwentombi. Now the child is stuck in university, keeps failing one module, and it seems like umuntu nabadala. How can she go fixing about such a situation? Keep in mind, agamazi umama umzalayo wayiswa ubaba wakhe kugogo ena 2 weeks. Ubaba sewashona. I'm assuming that's what the last part of the sentence is. Sewashona. So you need to go. The thing is, you're using the wrong surname. You're using a surname of your father's girlfriend, and obviously your father's girlfriend does have an ancestral claim over you, spiritually, of course. Where now what you need to do is this: you need to go emlandweni wasekhaya, and you need to find out what was your grandmother's, what was your grandmother's surname, right? Excuse me. You need to find out your grandmother's surname. And then you need to go back to your grandmother's surname. I've explained how you can go back to your grandmother's surname, Nimbus, and everything else. You need to go back to your grandmother's surname because, like, it says, it seems like when abanda badala, you might not necessarily have abanda badala because you're using the incorrect surname. So you need to find out what surname are you supposed to be using in terms of your grandmother's surname, and then you need to go back to that surname. And then you can change everything, shiji idea home affairs, and then shinja everything at banks work and everything so on and so forth. And if you're failing that one module, I suspect that it might be possible that the thing holding you back from that one from passing that module in that smoke. So you need to do the research and find out what kahle if you have no one to speak to, but be specific namaz with the words that you use and how you articulate yourself. Be specific to ask for the surname of Ukok so that you know what surname to change to or who to find. Okay, towards if usukanile. Of course, most definitely. Ukphahla is not only for single people. Whether you're married, divorced, widowed, and you can do it anywhere. You don't have to do it at home. You can do it at a hotel. If you're on a business trip, you can do it. You can do it anywhere. You can do it at a friend's place because you're going to be there for a couple of months or a couple of weeks or whatever the case may be. You can do it anywhere, right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so ngisacela ukubuza if ungakwenzelanga imbeleko and abaseka abazali wenze njani ngiyabonga. Sibi, all you need to do is find one relative ongakushisela impepho akhulume emsamo. And then ungaqhubeka kwenza imbeleko. That's all you need. Imbeleko doesn't have to be done for you by your parents. Umkhulu can do it. Ubabncane can do it. Umfwenu omdala, if he's the oldest living male, uyena ngashisa impepho. If yena bamenzele and whether you did it or mhlawumbe bamenzelanga, but you need someone ozoshisa impepho akhulume emsamo kubadala. It does not have to go through your parents, is what I'm saying. Okay, chama ngicela ukubuza ngokuphahla kwenziwa njani if mangabe idlozi likuthwasise lona ubona kanjani Thokoza? Okay, how do you see if you're self-initiating? I'm gonna save this for this weekend, please. Let's just save it for Sunday when I'm gonna articulate better what it means to be a self-initiating. So you guys know, how do I know if I'm a self-initiating spirit or not? Okay. Uma kuthiwa kunesikhwala okumele kunesikhwama okumele usithathe wenze njani? Okay, ukuthatha isikhwama is receiving an ancestral gift. Kahle kahle it's receiving ubunyanga, right? Ukuthatha ikhwama. But that process is usually done by ukuthwasa. And ukuthatha ikhwama doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to practice. And that process of ukuthwasa could simply mean bafuna ukuthi uthathe ikhwama so that ikhwama are within that generation, and then the person maybe that you pass them on to is going to be the one who actually practices inyanga. And this process is done by ukuthwasa. And perhaps I need a class on ukuthwasa on its own. Thokoza mkhulu, if waphunyela isisu, so if you've lost a child by miscarriage and ngisebenza njani lento yokugeza mkhulu, how do I cleanse the child? Ngigeza ngembuzi kufuneka iyard or ngiyageza nike igama lomkhulu ngoba kukhulunywa izinto eziningi. Okay, so this person's asking what to do if they've lost a child by miscarriage, stillborn, right? Okay, if you've lost a child or you had an abortion, both father and mother need to be cleansed, right? This is done using, Tina, we say use imbuzi, but abanye abantu mhlawumbe umunye uzosebenzisa imvu, mhlawumbe umunye umuntu uzosebenzisa ibhastela. But at the end of the day, as long as kunesilwane, I think the most important thing is kunesilwane that's on 4 legs. I think that's the most important thing. So chicken is not going to work. Isilwane that's on 4 legs, that's going to be slaughtered to cleanse. That's for the cleansing process, right? You're going to cleanse, okay? The cleansing process, ugeza, is going to take place ehlathini. Abanye abantu bathanda ukwenza ehlathini, but if you can, I would say hambe uyogeza emfuleni, because you want running water and you want to wash away yabo leso sinyama. For those of you who are, I want to say this now so people understand. If nithandana and mina as the man ngiyageza, but my girlfriend or wife akafuna ukugeza, if we are intimate, right? Loko geza that I've done becomes null and void. It's almost as if angezanga nhlobo, because my wife or my current partner akagezanga. So it's tricky if you're going to, if uzogeza, right, and you're still with the person with whom you lost the child, you need to come to an agreement with geza sobabili. If not, I'm not saying break up with the person, but I'm saying in the event that you guys are intimate, after when ugezile yena kagezanga, you're back to square one. Fana nokuthi awugezanga. So it's up to you what you want to do in that situation. That's what I want to say about that. Okay, I have a calling and I've accepted it, but I didn't twasa. But ngiyakwazi ukufila izinto and see things in my dreams, like unazaretha ngiyabonga ngisithandazela abantu, and I was told that I have power to control amanzi ngithwasile ukuthi awenze through prayer, but angwazi okunye njengokusiza umuntu ozovela ukuthi unethunzi. How do I help? Sorry nge-essay. Okay, not a problem with the essay. I'm getting quite a few of these questions when it comes to uktwasa, ukulapha, idlozi, how they manifest. So I'm going to do a class on it. I think it's going to be 2 parts actually, because it's quite detailed. I'm going to do a class on this so that I can do the subject justice. So please just bear with us, please. I'm going to do a class on this. Right. Thokoza ngisacela ukubuza ukuthi kusuke kwenze njani. Okay, another one, guys. Question. Okay, Thokoza mkhulu, is it possible ukuphuca umuntu omphiwe yena if ungazilungisi? So ukuphuca umuntu omphiwe, I'm not sure what you mean by umuntu ophiwe, like romantically, ingane. What do you mean? You need to let me know what do you mean. But to answer your question, anything that is for you and that is given to you can never be taken from you. Now, we need to understand that people, someone can be given to you. You're a blessing to them, they're a blessing to you. But both parties need to realize exactly that you're both a blessing. And blessings only bring more blessings if you appreciate the current blessing. And some people, though they're meant to be together, don't appreciate and respect the current blessing of this person they have right now, and then they go and they do other things and they ruin what they have at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question correctly, Andy. I'm gonna take 5 more questions because it's now longer than an hour, and we're running over time, but I do want to help as much as I can. But that's why, please don't worry, guys, we have another session coming up So Sunday, I'm going to do the class. I think on Friday, I'm going to do another one of these questionnaires. And if I still don't have enough answers, if you guys still have too many questions, that's fine. We can always add a third Q&A session. Okay, right, here we go. So I'm struggling to connect with Itonga from my father's side, and my parents were married, although they didn't perform all members, so which I did on my father's behalf when he passed away in 2012, but what I was promised didn't come to pass as a life. Okay. The reason you're struggling to connect is because awukwazi ukushadisa umuntu engekho engaphili. So there's this trend where people are told ukuthi no, if umama nobaba bangashadanga bashadise. You can't do that, guys. Awukwazi ukushadisa umama nobaba bengaphili. Right? The reason you may be struggling to connect with your father's side is because he did not want you to do that for him. You don't know why your father didn't go and go and complete the marriage process. So who are you to do it for him? Right? That's probably why. Okay, so you need to correct that you did for him. You were not supposed to do that for him. You can't. Right, so what's up with one? Uma ufuna ukuzebula munye wenzenjani, please dial it's 0100075294 or 5, and there will be someone to help you. Please use our website. Everything you need to know is on there. It's contact details, or visit the Facebook page, contact details, the number, dial us, as well as directions on how to actually get to us. Okay, here's the other part of the question. It's been revealed to us that we must all change our surname to our mother's maternal surname, Yamini. My grandmother and my aunts got married, introduced to the Nkosi family, of which that is where we all live. We don't know any Yamini family members, only my grandmother. There is no Yamini home. All our rituals are done here, Nkosi. Now that we must go back to my mother's surname, how do we do it since there is no Yamini family? There are no uncles, nothing. So you're saying here that we don't know any Yamini family members, only your grandmother. In the event that there is no oldest male in the family, the person that can then and then you can actually do the process of all coming back to the Yamini surname. So I'm assuming you're saying here we don't know any family members, only your grandmother. Is your grandmother a Yamini? I'm not sure. In the event that, but the thing is, I'm so sorry, Ngwena. Yes, this question, there's actually a top question. I can't remember the beginning of this question. I can't remember it. I can't remember the beginning of this question. So you're saying you don't know anyone from the Yamini family, but you need to go into and become members of the Yamini family. You need to find someone. The thing is, you can't go to the Yamini family. You can't be introduced. So you can't introduce to the Yamini family without someone who's a living Yamini. You need someone who's all Yamini to speak Imsam and bring you into the family. I hope that makes sense. But what I will do for you, I'll do a little bit more research. And let me look into our records. I'm sure there's a family that has been in a similar predicament. I just need to look at our records and see what they did. Please, Ngwenya, give me 48 hours. Let me look at our records. I'm sure there's a family that's been in the situation. Let me see what they did, and we can take it from there. Okay, second last question. Thokozamkhulu, what if nothing traditional has ever been done in your family since you were born? Where do you start, Lungsa? How? I live Bogama. I'm using my father's surname, of which I doubt traditional was done. I've completed my matric, tertiary, and currently working, so I want to fix from scratch. Woo. Okay. This is called being a pioneer. And one of the things that we're starting is going to be called the Pioneers series, because there are so many people that are pioneers, especially young people. A lot of our young people are pioneers. So I'm going to take you through from the rudimentary level of being a pioneer, how to build a homestead from scratch, So those are the things that I'm going to take you through, and it's an actual process. So it's going to be called the Pioneer series, which is going to be separate from the educational series. I hope that makes sense. Okay, last one. What traditional rituals need to be done if a woman girlfriend were to lose a child? Yeah, Popoma, keeping note that the gender was identified and there was a heartbeat. Okay. The only ritual that needs to be done for both father and mother of the child, I'm assuming that you're speaking from a position that the boyfriend and the girlfriend are still together. What needs to happen there is both Meluguts. That's it. If you know the gender, then you can get a goat or an animal that is corresponding with that particular gender. Then that's great. You can go with that gender. That's fine. Because you know the gender. And that's all that needs to happen. Both wena no mama, that's it. 70 symbols a yod. One goat, because there's also only one child. That's all that needs to happen. And igama, but wait, please, there's this thing when zilad, ilad, I'm not saying that, I'm not going to say don't do ilad. I'm just saying that you're wasting your time and money because there's no spiritual principle or meaning behind ilad. The most important thing is ukezingane ngembos noma isifana esithize. That's it. Uwenza ilad usudlala ngemali nesikhathi sakho. Really, you really, there's no spiritual meaning behind ilad. Ilad, there's no spiritual implication. So I'm not going to say to you, don't do it. I'm just telling you that it's not going to do anything. I'll take one more, or two more, or three more. When it comes to weddings, considering this lockdown right now, would it be fine to just slaughter the animals that are needed instead of celebrations that are always done? So I think the regulations say 50 people. Angaz, I think so. But when it comes to this current lockdown, I would say hold off on large celebrations. Because the reason is, remember, Umshat is not about you, it's not about your husband, it's about Abadal, especially the rituals. It's about Abadal, Namatongo Neklos. And Bona, they might want that celebration. Where now you're just saying, okay, let me just do it. No, it's about them as well. So before you're going to do it, I would say, if they don't come back with an answer, don't do it. If they say, with the rituals, then with the rituals. But I would say wait. I would say wait. We're on advanced level 3. Maybe we'll go down to 2. Maybe when we're back at 1, then let's do it. But I'd say wait. Okay, that was the last one for today. I'm so sorry. I can see that there are a lot more questions that I was not able to get through. But I anticipated this. Hence, we said we're gonna have 2. We're gonna have 2 of these. If we're still struggling with questions, then we might have a 3rd as well. Thank you very much for joining me this Monday afternoon. Please stay safe, look after yourself, take care of each other, and yeah, thank you very much. Have a lovely Monday evening, and I'm wishing you all the best for the week to come. Thank you.